Hi, this is Survivor and Scrappy Mania, and today I'm going to create another layout. And I'm going to be using this Songbird stack that I purchased at Tuesday morning. And I purchased this like a year ago. So I'm going to, and basically what I'm going to be using from this stack is just some cutouts from, let me show you the stack first. You get like 4 or 5 sheets. I think it's 5 sheets of the same design. And here's a green. So I'm basically going to be using some of the cut aparts from this stack. Like I'm going to maybe use this. I may use this, and I'm going to go ahead and I cut this piece out, which is right here. And I may use that. So those are the 3 pieces that I'm going to be using. But and then I'm going to be using a strip. This strip is actually from this paper stack too. So I'm going to be using this strip. And that was just a leftover piece that I have from a layout that I created before. But here is, I'm just showing you a little bit of the paper stack. It's very nice. I like the muted colors. It's not like real bright. It's just perfect for those, this is what I'm going to be using. It's just perfect for those heritage photos, or it's a nice little color palette. I like this yellow. It's very nice. And especially this. And these are perfect for cut apart, so you can cut this whole piece apart and then place it on a solid background with some stamping, with a stamping background. And it looks very nice. And then the other pieces that I'm going to be using is, this is some leftover. I showed you a tutorial where I showed you how I created this chevron with the glitter. And this is just leftover pieces that I might be using in this layout. I'm going to be using this as my base page, and it's from Cloud9, and it's a Fisker. And the name of this paper is Luster Cinnamon Ripple. So you get this on one side, it's double-sided, and then you get this nice solid color on the other side. I got this some time ago at Tuesday morning, and I got like 25 pages for $1.99. The only problem when you buy this at Tuesday morning is that you get a bunch of the same design. When I do that, I try to buy it that I also get the solid color on the back. So then, if I don't want to use the design anymore, I can use the back parts of the design. I'm going to be using this star paper, and this is from Ever After Pebbles, and the collection is called Ever After. And this is also from Tuesday morning, and you get like 25 pages for $1.99. And I'm going to be using this American Craft Blue Sky, and I'll be using this side, but it also has, the back side is a nice blue color. I may use some of the pieces for the back side to layer. And then I'm going to be using a solid cardstock, and I'll show you in a moment why I'm using a solid cardstock. I took my gypsy, and I cut a lot of arrows and some designs, and I'm going to go ahead and show you how to layer these designs together to create some kind of like chipboard piece that you can use in your layout. I'm going to be doing this. This is the inspiration. So this is the layout design. So I'm going to use my gypsy to cut the this color. So this one, which is the Fisker Cloud9 color, which is the Luster Cinnamon Ripple. This is the one that I'm going to use for my background that I'm going to cut. Days like these are what makes life so sweet. And I'm going to use my my die cutter to cut that out on the side, and then I'm going to use the other papers to create layers. And that piece this says love. Well, that's what I'm using my gypsy to create that piece. I do not have it in my local scrapbooking store. I really don't want to purchase online. So I want to show you an alternative, what you can do if you have a die cutter machine to create that same effect with your die cutter and just regular piece of paper. And then I'm going to layer a lot of pieces. And I'm also going to use this documented. I am going to cut this blue paper with my die cutter, and I'm going to go ahead and cut documented. And then I'm going to back it up with white piece of cardstock to create that same effect. So let me go ahead and get started. As what you can hear in the background is my Cricut cutting the pieces out. And I shall be back and I will put everything kind of together. Okay, so I used my gypsy and I cut all these arrows. And the cartridge that I used to cut these arrows was actually from the birthday cake cartridge. So now I'm going to create my faux chipboard or my faux wood. I'm going to go ahead and adhere them. So you're not going to see it too much, but I'm just going to put some glue. And this is a scratch piece of paper that I use. And then I'm going to adhere it right on top of each other. And I'm using glue stick because that way I can move it. So that way it will align. So as you can see, it's aligning. You can see that. Then I'm going to put like 5 pieces together to create that nice, sturdy kind of chipboard wood kind of look or feel. Gonna hear that. You can see here. And it's very sticky, so that's why you need to really have another piece of cardstock, like your scratch piece of paper or cardstock. And see how it's starting to build up the thickness? So I'm going to use another arrow. And I think I'm going to adhere like 5 pieces together. That will give me the feel of a wood chipboard. See here? Let's make sure it has adhesive throughout. And see how it's starting to feel, it's starting to build up like chipboard. And then right now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, my last piece. Make sure I put a lot of adhesive. And this is my last piece. I'm going to adhere together. And you have a nice, sturdy, kind of almost chipboard piece. Now you notice that the ones that you buy at the store has that kind of brownish edge. So once it's dry, I'm gonna come back with a marker, a brown magic marker, and I'm gonna go ahead and outline the edges and make it kind of a little darker color than what it is now. But that's my piece. See how nice and thick it is? So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So I recommend that you make 5 layers of your cardstock, and that will give you a nice little sturdy piece that, similar to those veneers, wood veneers that you can buy at the stores. It gives you the same look, but without the price of those wood veneers. And then you can create any kind of shape for your scrapbooks. So let me go ahead and do the same treatment for all of these, and I'll come back and show you how to outline it so it will look like real chipboard or real veneer pieces. So I had all my embellishments cut out, so, and they all have 5 layers of cardstock. Okay, so and they're dry, so they had a chance to dry, and they're pretty tough. They're like almost like veneer. And this one's a cute little shape. How I did this one is I took the heart from George and Basic Shape. Then I took the word love, or the letters from the Gypsy font. I welded everything together. So this is 2 hearts. So I did 1 heart. Then I took another heart and then inserted in the first heart and made it a little smaller. And then I took the word love and I welded it together, and then I welded the whole piece together, and that's how I got my shape. And there's 5 layers in this. And then the heart, the arrows are actually 5 layers. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my Stampin' Up! Right marker. And this one is chocolate chip. And I wanted to make it look more like a wood veneer. So I'm going to go ahead and take my my marker, and I'm going to color the sides like you see here. And see, that already makes it look like it's a wood veneer. Okay. Just color the sides like you see here. Okay. And there, it looks just like a wood veneer. See how it kind of make it look like if it's wood? And then I can either use a little bit, now, if you do it on neutral color, then you can color it, you can mist it. I can take this and actually glimmer mist it. I can even take a little bit of my glossy accent. And actually I don't have glossy accent. I have this, let me look for this thing that calls glass finish. So I can take some of my glass finish and I can put some of that and place it on my arrow. And let that dry. And it's going to look very nice. It's going to look like a wood veneer piece. So just want to give you some ideas. Now this is, you know, they have that ampersand or the asterisk. That's very not ampersand, but the asterisk. That's very popular as a wood veneer. Well, I don't have that shape, but I do have this Fisker daisy punch. It's small little daisy punch. So that almost looks just like those asterisks. So I'm going to take my pen, and then you're just going to carefully go through all the sizes like you see here and color it. And I'm using brown, and try to stay with like brown and those kind of colors. Don't use black. I think black will make it won't look like a wood veneer if you use black, but you can if you like to. But I just want to make it look more like a wood veneer that I have purchased. Okay, and you see that? You can see that I created that, and then I can do the same thing. I could take some of my clear glass. It's called glass finish, and I can put some on here, and let that dry. And there you have it. So I hope I gave you some ideas of how to create your own kind of wood veneers using just regular cardstock. And I'll come back and I'll show you how I use all these pieces in a layout that I'll be creating shortly. Okay, so I'm ready to get my page together. Now, I forgot to turn on the camera while I did this, but basically what I did is I took my stencil and I glimmer mist on top of the stencil. And this is a stencil that I created just making some squares and just using my X-Acto knife to cut out the rectangles on it. And it made that brick layer. So now I'm going to go ahead and assemble my page. So it's going to be, this is the layout that I'm planning to create. Let me bring it here. So that's the layout that I'm planning to create. I'm going to change it a little bit because I went ahead and glimmer mist the background. But basically this is the layout that I'm going to create, and the inspiration came from that little heart to create this faux wood veneer, which is just 5 layers of paper glued together. And I created that with my gypsy. So let me go ahead and get started. I'm going to speed up the video, and I hope you enjoy this tutorial. So I'm going to trim my paper that I created there. I'm trimming it down so that way I can have like an 1.5 inch border on the left hand side of my layout. And I'm trimming just a little tiny bit because when I took off the strip, the branding strip of that paper, it just wasn't completely, there was just a little bit extra of that banding strip. So now I'm laying my my layer and making sure that I adhere it down, and then I'm going to be using the stripes. However, I end up not using the star stripe and that pink stripe if that's a word, because it just didn't go. My layout here, as you notice, it's a little more muted. It's kind of soft color, and those colors are just too bright for this layout. So I'm going to give, because I'm not using those strips, I'm using my sewing machine to create the texture and a little bit of decoration. And I'm using gold thread, and I really like using gold thread. I learned this technique with using gold thread with Tracy from Mercy Tiara, and I really like it. So I went ahead and got a bunch of different color metallic threads to use for my layouts. So now I'm placing all my elements down. That piece of stripe that you see on the side next to the blue chevron paper, I end up not using at the end. It was just, it didn't have enough color for me, so I end up not using that. I did, however, matte one of my pictures because it needed something. It was just getting lost, so I matted my picture with the same color as the cardstock I used to cut out my letters. Now, what you didn't see me do was I used a spray adhesive to adhere those letters to my page. And there goes that red cut apart that you see there from the Songbird collection or paper pad from Tuesday Morning. I end up using that on the right hand side, and I really like it. It gives it a little bit of color, a little bit of pop. As you can see, I'm still trying to use those strips of paper and as banners, and I end up not using it as well. It just didn't go. I could not make it work. So then I resorted to my stamps in order to fill the gap on top of the letter that I felt it needed something. And then in the lower right, I put another stamp image because in order to balance the layout. So now I'm just adhering all my pages down. Now I try to use glue stick to adhere the photo, but it did not work because of the glitter in the background. So I end up using my tacky glue and just using that to adhere all my pictures down. So I'm giving it a little dimension here to this bird cage. So I put some foam adhesive in the back. And now I'm ready to adhere all my faux wood veneers. Let's call it wood veneers. But they're actually just a bunch of cardstock, just glue, layers of cardstock glued together. And I'm liking how it looks so far. So the next thing, I kind of bring out my Amy Tangerine stamp. However, this stamp does not have the 2010 date. It starts at 2015. 12. So I end up just using the phrase snapshot, and then I do have a number roller stamp, and I put 2010. And then finally, I needed something for those letters, so I end up using my brown marker, and I'm going to outline all the letters with like false stitching, and I'm almost done. Okay, so here's the inspiration, the layout that inspired me, and here's my layout, my completed layout. So I stamped up here because it needed something on top, so I went ahead and put a stamp, and I put one of my asterisks in the middle. Here's another asterisk, and then I used my gypsy to create this that says documented. I just wrote the word documented on a strip of paper, and I fed it through my gypsy. So this is my Faux Veneer. So it's just 5 pieces of cardstock glued together to create that piece. There's my other asterisk, and I created with the daisy punch from Fiskars, and just it has 5 layers of cardstock. Here are my arrows. This is part of the paper pad, a little cutout, and my asterisk, and then some of my stamp. This is the new Amy Tangerine stamp. So I mainly just used it for the word snapshot, and then I just used my regular number stamp to put the date there, 2010. And there are some more of my stamps that say happiness, life, and pictures. So I hope you like this layout, and thank you for watching. Bye now.